It's Nic Adams. I'm Nic Adams. I designed and made this art sculpture guitar for the LA Youth Network charity with the West Hollywood Library Fund and the West Hollywood Art and Culture Commission. It's called Prince of Darkness to honor the 2009 Sunset Strip Music Festival honoree Ozzy Osbourne. I really was honored to do the guitar for Ozzy Osbourne. It was basically going to be a life-changing experience. I knew that coming in from the start, but I really didn't realize what the gravity of that change would be. Once I got switched to the Ozzy Osbourne guitar, I knew that I was going to have to put in a lot of hours. I was going to talk to the city of West Hollywood about project managing for a public art project on the Sunset Strip, actually, that a friend of mine, Dave Rhodes, who's now living in New Orleans, he did a couple billboards in New Orleans, and so we had the initial proof of that and the fact that it could be executed and work with the billboard companies and all that. So when I went to talk to them at a monthly meeting they do between artists, people that work with the Arts and Culture Commission, and Leslie Elwood, who curated it, she talked to me. I told her, well, you know, I've done rock photography for almost 20 years now, and she said, okay, well, come and meet with us, show us your work. I did, and they said, okay. And then after they accepted me, they told me that they wanted me to do the Ozzy Osbourne tribute guitar, which I wasn't so sure of because it's, for one, a huge legendary rock musician, icon of everything. It was for the LA Youth Network charity. So I said yes, and I started to do the guitar, but when they switched it to the Ozzy one, I had to come up with a new concept and everything, and I kept going over the Prince of Darkness idea in my head, and once I got to the point where I figured out the image I wanted to go for, I didn't know if it was going to be executable and with the time frame and all that, so I figured out I could do it, but it was going to take me all the time I had and basically all the money I had for the next month. So I did that, and pretty awesome, and the greatest joy was to see that Ozzy himself loved the guitar and the image on it, and they used it for a press conference to launch Ozzy and Slash's North American tour, which is when Ozzy signed it here and Slash signed it here. That was a big highlight, and that was in front of a lot of media at the House of Blues. And after that, this summer, I attended the Sunset Strip Music Festival on August 20th, and a very close collaborator and companion, Victoria Alviti, was with me that night, and I actually met her because of the guitar, because the art collective I was working with was having a benefit to feed the homeless in Venice, and she was one of the DJs there, so we hit it off well and everything. She was with me the night of that festival, and we were on our way. We called for a friend to come get us, and all of us went to go to the event that she was DJing at afterwards in Malibu, and we were involved in a car accident. The car went off a 500-foot cliff. We were both ejected from the car. I survived, but I had, you know, some injuries and things, but I did survive, and I'm sitting here talking to you 4 months later. And unfortunately, she did not survive, and she was working this summer on setting up a music foundation. The whole point of being at the festival was to talk in front of the guitar and making print runs about it, with it, and do artist signing and selling them in coordination with you know, the city and Hustler store, which is where it was at that time. And so we went into the festival thinking we'd just network, have a good time, see some bands, and go on after that. And then we were scheduled to leave the next day to travel. So she'd been working all summer on setting up a music foundation to keep music and arts in the schools. I dedicated this guitar to her. I signed it at the bottom to Victoria, Music and Passion, which is what our lives were very much about, living day by day, doing what you love. So that is now set up, and they've done an event on the East Coast for it already. And once I am better, I will be definitely doing an event out here on the West Coast, and furthering the cause of putting youth in contact with the arts. all of the benefits that come along with the arts and music, including options that they may not have or they might not know about, or a way to express yourself, just experience in general that art and music create in this world. So I'm very happy to do that. I'm very happy to still be here and be able to talk to anybody. Yeah, I look forward to more projects like this. And I was very, very pleased to be part of this project, even involving the accident that went on that night. It's just part of my story and part of my drive to get closer to social-conscious events and projects like that. The creative process I went through was, the original concept I had behind the guitar was entity, that every guitarists that I've met and interviewed and talked to and traveled with and everything, they always have this relationship with their instrument like it's an actual entity or person. I've been doing a series on old Polaroid black and white that I've been working on for about 4 years. Originally I was going to put an image like that on the front of the guitar and do dust and scratches all over it that was signifying the sound of an old record on a record player, and very vintage sounding, like Les Paul blues, jazz, early rock sound, and that's kind of the feel I was going for. Entity with that early influence to my records and things like that. After that, they told me I was doing Ozzy Osbourne, which that did not fit with at all. So I was trying to run around the process of doing iconography of Ozzy, including, Randy Rhoads symbolism, Crazy Train, Bark at the Moon, the Sunset Strip, anything I could come up with. But the iconography stuff wasn't running around the shape of the guitar well. So I was sitting there trying to figure out, after like a couple days actually of going over what I was going to do. I was sitting outside in my hammock, actually outside of where my studio was, right off the Sunset Strip, and it just came to me in a flash. Prince of Darkness and this image, and I had shot the castle walls in Paris. The griffins are from Innsbruck. On the front is actually the image of a girl playing guitar that I then manipulated many times over into that shape, like kind of a shroud of darkness, Shroud of Turin type of thing. So it's got the religious aspects of Ozzy, but as well as this original artwork. And it's like with the castle walls and the griffins and the prince kind of connection with the old Europe, and it came to me in a flash, and then I went for it, and it was an experiment all the way down the line, including being able to apply the image to the front, and what coatings would not interfere with it, what would, but I had a very short time frame, so I had to definitely rush it, and I would have liked to have had another couple weeks, but I'm happy with how it came out.
And times are strange. Here I come, but I ain't the same.